Oh boy, you're going to love, 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 love this podcast. So I did something different this time. And before you go in, listen to me, okay? So first off, I talk about the owl and how the owl showed up. And I didn't end the story of the owl to explain it to you, but the owl was giving me messages of a Soul Finder Academy being a success and to follow my heart. It was a program that I did different than other programs. A lot of times I teach, and when I put a class together, I teach live. And that particular course was channeled completely through me, even though most of my stuff is. And I put it all together and then put it out into the community. And I was like biting nails, like, how is this gonna be? And the owl showed up, which I talk about in the beginning of this. And it was like success, great. And Soul Finder Academy has been just such a phenomenal experience for me. Not only for my own work in it, but just the people that have gone through it. And this isn't a sales pitch. I'm sharing from a transparent, vulnerable place to show you like what business owners go through, right, when they put out something new. But it's been so incredible for me, the people that I've met, the people that have gone through it, being able to do the SaaS experience, and the people that then go into Soul Finder Academy from the SaaS experience. It's just been such an incredible eye-opening experience, and my heart completely just like pulses with it all. And the program itself has life to it, where it's activated, the classes are activated and the videos are, so it's constantly just growing and expanding. So I didn't get to explain that with all the owls, so you can apply that to whatever your question is. So this particular podcast is different because I take you on a hike, but I do a reading for you. And I do a reading for myself too, but I couldn't focus on my own question while I was doing the reading for you. So I explain how that works, how one reading could be for the masses, and you'll see it as you go through it. I'm really curious as to your experience of it. So I do the reading, and I tell you exactly what to do, so don't worry about it. You're going to get directed on what to do and think of a question, and then you're going to go on this journey with me through the hike and apply all the things that I get to your question, and it's going to give you the answer. So I've never done this before this way. And I did the readings for all of you, and then I stopped. You'll see it ends. And then, because I wanted to enjoy some of the hike with my dogs. Not that I don't enjoy talking to all of you, but I have to focus on them, and I wanted to just take in the nature. And then I started listening back to it with my question in mind. And holy moly, I don't want to curse. Holy fuck, I will curse. Man, did it answer my question. And I wasn't even aware of it when I was doing it, because when I'm doing readings for other people, yes, there's a part of it that's reflected to ourselves. There's too much to explain about that, but I will explain the multidimensional language down the line, and how when you can be reading others, spirit can be holding up a mirror to you, and you're not projecting your stuff, but you're learning so much through a reading. It just accelerates your growth like crazy. It's amazing. But I was listening back and I was like, oh my goodness, this is like totally answering my question. And it's a big question right now in my life. It's a big part of my life that I'm trying to see through. And it blew me away. So I really am hoping and feeling that you're going to have a similar experience that I just had. And I still have to listen to the rest of it, but I wanted to stop and share this with you, because I was like, it was stopping me in my tracks, because I wasn't realizing it, because I was just kept going and reading the symbols for you guys. But I say in the beginning, it's for me too. And then when I went back, I went, oh my goodness. And here's the thing, when I channel and I do readings, I don't remember what I say. So I actually forgot the part about the parking sign. You'll hear all that. And some of the things that I said, and how it loops around, and it brings things together. And I forgot some of that, because I just move on to the next thing and move on to the next thing. I really let spirit talk through me, even though it's my voice and I'm not like speaking in a foreign accent or any of that. So enjoy this one. You're going to enjoy the heck out of it. I'm just so excited. And I've heard from a few of you that the other one was really great. Remember, guys, if you like this podcast, it's really important for me to share it, review it, rate it. If you don't like it, don't listen again, I guess. But if you really like it, share it, review it, rate it. It would be great for me. And I do hope you all like it. I really hope that there's something for everyone, because I really am pouring my heart and soul into this, and I'm loving every minute of it. And I'm so grateful to all of you that are listening. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me to be able to bring this to you in this forum. All right. Enjoy the journey. Hi everyone, I'm going to do something different this time around. So as I decided to do this, I was like, I'm going on a hike. I'm already almost there. Let's do it now. And then I looked down at my phone and it was 3:01, and I'll explain what that number is in a second. And then I heard the owl, and the owl has a huge significance for me, especially with Soul Finder Academy. And when I started putting Soul Finder Academy out into the world, I went into the forest one morning, and I was like, I need to know if this is going to be a success. Is this going to be a success? And then I turned around and there was the owl, and very low on the tree. And I took pictures of it. I did a video with it. I was like, this is so cool. And then every time that I've gone in there at different times in this journey, my business journey with Soul Finder Academy in particular, I would ask at specific times, like I was launching it, and I was like, I need to know, is it going to do well, blah, blah, blah. And I'm walking, where's the owl? I need to see the owl. And I turn around and there it is. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I even did it with the podcast too. I was like, okay, I'm pouring my heart and soul into this podcast. I need to see the owl. And it was like, I can't remember. It was like more towards early evening. And I turned around and the owl was in a place that it's not normally in. And there he was. So these significance are so important in our life. So I'm going to do something different today, but let me explain the 3:01, and then we're going to enter onto the journey. But as you know, I'm with my dog, so you're going to be taking this hike with me, but I'm going to be doing a reading for you, and I'll show you how that works. So numbers are very significant with our guides. It was one of the first signs and symbols I started seeing before I even knew about guides, and that's how they were communicating to me. I just knew I teach in clairvoyancy, when you see repetitive symbols and there's a certain type of like draw, like you just feel it. You can see the number, you keep seeing the number over and over, and you feel something in your soul, in your system, like this is special for me. So I've learned how to read numbers really well. I'm actually going to teach a class in Membership for Your Soul, I believe in March or April, about numbers and how to use numbers and how to read them. So threes are about mind, body, and soul for me. It's pretty much a trinity because I was raised Catholic. So it means you're like really coming home to yourself. You're marrying all parts of yourself and becoming whole. And then the 1 is about new beginnings. And then the 3:01 equals a 4, which is about new foundations. It represents the root chakra for me. New belief systems, and we're always rewriting our belief systems, especially if we're on a spiritual journey and evolving. We may be questioning some belief systems that we've been living our life by and noticing that they aren't true. They may have been something that was told to us by somebody in our family that we don't agree with any longer. So this is a very prominent number for us to take this walk with. Okay, I'm going to do my best I can with this. So what I want you to do, this is how it's going to work. You're going to think of a question. And then I'm going to just do a reading on this hike for everyone. And people may be like, how could that work for everyone? Well, it works. It really does. And my guides know who's going to be listening to this, no matter what time period they're listening to it, and that it's going to help guide them to an answer. So when you ask a question, you want to make sure you're not asking a yes or no question, because it really limits the response and it makes you attached to an outcome. And you don't want to do that because there's usually an evolution of your soul. Your soul may have to evolve to another level before you get the actual answer that you need, sometimes in readings, or it's always a journey. So I just want you to think of the reading as a journey. So what we're going to do is I want everybody to think of a question. And as I go on my hike, I'm just going to read all the symbols that I get for all of you. So it's going to be a group reading for everyone, and myself included. And then next week, I'm hoping, if I can't do the hike next week, I'll do it another time. I'm going to take you through the hike again, but this time I'm going to pause more so that you're really learning how to do this for yourself. It's really important to me that you learn how to do it. I listened to last week's recording and I was like, I should have paused a little bit more and really gave them the opportunity to go on the journey with me and get the answers. And sometimes people need a little bit more time. Of course, you could always pause the recording. Okay, so think of a question. I'm going to think of one too. My poor dogs, they're being so patient. Okay, got your question, right? Now I'm going to do a reading for all of you. And the first thing I'm seeing is the no parking sign, no parking at any time. And what Spirit wants you to know about that sign is that you really can't stay still. This is not a time in your life where you can stay still and just park your little butt down. It's time that you really get moving and get motivated and really start believing what it is that you desire in your life and moving towards it. So Spirit is like, stop with the no parking, stop with the waiting. Now's the time to move forward. And if you don't know how to move forward, it doesn't matter. Take a step in any area of your life, even if it's just playing something. It'll lead you to where you need to be. But staying still, you will never get to where you need to be. So make sure that you are constantly moving. So just sit with that a bit. And now I'm seeing a rock, a pretty big rock. And it's a rock that you would sit upon and just reflect. So Spirit's asking all of you right now to just, what would you reflect on right now? Where in the area are you standing still where you need to move forward? Okay, I want to continue on. So I was talking about the rock and I got disturbed by someone behind me. It got disrupted, and I'll explain what that means for the reading. So the rock is about you sitting down and reflecting on the question and the answer I'd given about not parking and where in your life you're staying stuck. Now, somebody was coming from behind me with a dog and she wanted me to know. And it was actually a dog that was off leash not too long ago that we ran into, and I had to turn around and the owner was nowhere to be found, but it doesn't matter. It's all fine. The point of that for the reading is sometimes things sneak up from behind. And it's not necessarily a thing that is supposed to hurt you, but it's to help move you along or help you think of things differently or have a character building moment. So where in your life do you feel like something is sneaking up from behind, or where aren't you fully prepared in your life to move forward? So I want you to just consider that in this reading, like thinking about your question and thinking about what I already said, and then what happens when you feel like things sneak up from behind you, and how do you handle it? That's the biggest thing. Like, Spirit wants you to have the tools and the techniques that you need in order to be prepared for the journey, right? And things are going to happen. That just happens. Okay, so right now I'm entering into the forest part, and I'm seeing a path that I sometimes take. I call it the happy trail path, but that's not what it's called. And I really like it. It's a great path where you go uphill and past creeks, and it's pretty quiet, and it's a great path. But I'm going to take the other path that I like to take. So I feel like it's direction, and Spirit's asking you, because that's behind me, that path, right? And that path is a pretty uphill climb. I sometimes get a little concerned because it's I've seen coyotes, around there, and I want to be careful. We see coyotes in the forest all the time, and coyotes are tricksters and the fool card. It's about taking a risk. It's about taking a naive risk. So the path behind me is you get to decide which path you want to take. What's the path that your heart is telling you to take? Are you clear about the path you want to take? Are you letting somebody else dictate the path you want to take? Or are you taking control of your desires, your feelings, your inspirations, your motivations, and are you choosing the path? That's what Spirit wants to know. And what do you need for the path? What kind of education do you need to help guide you on the path, to support you on the path? I'm feeling the ground beneath my feet, and I'm feeling all the support that is always there for us. And we don't take it for granted. We take it for granted. We don't really stop and recognize, like, wait a second, something's holding my feet up and really supporting me here. There's always these unseen forces around us that want to help us, want to guide us. If we just slow down, reflect, and listen. And you really want to learn how to listen for the guidance. And the guidance for me, whether it comes from a guide or your own inner self, is the same thing. So whether it's a guide you're working with where they're telling you what to do, where to go, what to say, or how to get quiet and listen, or it's your own higher self or just your own inner feelings, it's all the same thing. As long as it's aligning you with your soul, helping you to travel more in your light, then it's the same thing. Okay. So just be with that for a minute. And what I'm feeling now is the breeze. I love the breeze. And then this forest is fascinating to me because you always see things in the trees, and I always see things in the trees. And there is like a man ahead. He's part of the tree. He's hugging the tree. And it's almost like he's holding it for dear life. What are you holding on to for dear life that you're afraid to release, but you really do need to release because it's no longer serving you? What are you holding on to for dear life that you need to release, but you're holding on to it because you think it is still serving you, but it's not, and you need to let it go? Many times things get taken out of our paths or away from us, and we freak out about it, and then we learn, like, it's the best thing that the universe did for us. I recently had that, and anytime that happens, it's like such a waking up moment to, oh my goodness, this is a character building moment. I'm learning something. I'm getting educated. So what is it that you're holding on to that you no longer need to hold on to? Or who is it that you're holding on to that maybe you need to just release your attachment to? And take some deep breaths into your own soul, your own heart, your own being. So I'm not pausing the recording right now because I really want you to be on the journey with me as you're reflecting on this conversation that I'm having with you, on this reading that I'm having with you. I just feel like as I walk towards this tree, this like man, I could see his eyes. I could see, he feels like he's, what are those things called? It's almost like a Joker. Oh, okay. He's got like an owl face, but it's almost like a mask that they would wear in those types of Renaissance balls. I can't remember what it's, masquerade ball. So he looks like he's wearing a mask with a very pointed nose and owl eyes, which we started with the owl. And now it looks like an owl to me. And it feels like, where is your wisdom? Where are you tapping into your wisdom? Where is your wisdom coming from? What wisdom do you need? Many times when we're making decisions and choices in our life, we have to get educated on certain things. We need the support of a community, or we need the support of some type of education because we haven't been there before, right? So you need a coach or some type of class to help you learn the skills that you need to learn in order to move forward. They're clogging my left ear. That's usually about deceased people wanting to come in. So the masquerade ball is, what are you masquerading around? Or better yet, Spirit said, who do they want to be? What mask do they want to put on, which is really part of themselves that they want to masquerade around in? Who do they want to be right now? Who do you want to be that you're not giving yourself permission to be? That's what they want to know now. So now I'm seeing a tree with no leaves. And you know that come the spring, that tree is going to have leaves. So this is a timing. If you put the work in right now, by May, your gifts are going to grow. But you have to put the work in order for you to see the growth, in order for you to reap the benefits, Spirit says. So make sure that you're putting the work in order to reap the benefits. Okay. So think about those things that I'm saying. How does that apply to your question? How is that telling you what to do? What do you need to know? What steps do you need to take? Remember, we started this whole thing with, it's time to take action. It's time to move forward. So what is it that you need to take action in and move forward? What steps do you need to take? And now I'm seeing a moth, which is a symbol for my father, actually. So masculine for me is on the right side. Masculine is about doing. It may sound very antiquated, so forgive me for that. In our new belief systems and how we're growing as a society with masculine and feminine, but for this reading, masculine is about doing. So I feel like this reading is very much about doing. It's not about sitting still. It's about making sure that things are happening, making sure that you're doing things. And now I'm passing this gorgeous tree. You know how many times I pass this tree and I don't notice it? So how many times do we put blinders on in our life and don't notice the magic in our own soul, in our own hearts? How many times do we miss the magic that's happening in our life because we don't pause and reflect and recognize all the beautiful magic? And I'm seeing the light hit the trees. And it's just a reminder that there's always light out there. Even in the darkest moments, we can find light. And we can shine the light in the darkest moments. And the sun comes up every day, and every day is a new beginning. Even if it feels like it's drudgery or it's really hard or it's difficult, to start linking arms with the light and moving forward into your bliss, what's blissful to you. Okay. Now the wildflowers are starting to come up, and it's beautiful when the wildflowers come up here, and I'm seeing these really, really pretty little white flowers. And then I feel like I see little angelic children running around in the fields. You need to play. Playing helps us to, this is spirits talk to you. Playing helps us to find solution. Playing helps us to get in touch with our souls. Our soul is playful. Our soul is creative. Our soul is imaginative. What do you need to do? When was the last time you gave yourself permission to play? Do you know what play is? And many times people have very serious questions and they don't recognize, like, if they just do something that's playful, they're going to get the answer. It's going to come through them at the most, like they stop focusing on the question. You walk away from the question, you do something that has nothing to do with the question, and the answer comes. So the one thing I'm experiencing on this hike is people. A lot of times it's quiet, and I'm finding it distractive and annoying, to be honest. But I take everything as information, always. That's synchronicity. There's information every moment. So who's trying to distract you from your dreams? Who's trying to, they're like gnats in your life where they might be old friends or cousins or something that they just can't see your light. They can't see you for who you are, and they're trying to distract you from your dreams. So ask yourself that, and don't make yourself wrong for having these feelings about people, and we don't have to make them wrong either. Spirit doesn't talk poorly about other souls. They just teach you what you need to know in order to move forward or to shift a relationship or have more boundaries or whatever it is that you have to learn. So what kind of boundaries do you need? What kind of boundaries are you not putting up? Where do you need to put boundaries in your life is what I'm hearing in order for you to succeed or to follow your heart, follow your soul, which is succession, right? It's succeeding when you're listening to your own inner voice and you're following it. So I don't think I said much about the angel children, the joy, the light, the singing. That's what I'm kind of hearing now with the creek. I don't know if you guys are hearing the creek. Okay, now I got to pay attention. Puppy ahead. So I'm kind of being reminded of a memory right now as I'm watching the creek and seeing the beautiful water. And I want you to think of a time in your life when you set out to do something and you got it. And then think of the three character traits you had when you did that thing, right? So Spirit's having me remember, I very rarely use my own life experiences when I'm doing a reading. And this is a very interesting reading as I'm doing this for you guys. But Spirit asked me to ask you that because I'm remembering when I first moved here, and this trail that I'm walking on it's walking distance from my house. And I kind of feel like I remember when I first started discovering it and how cool it was for me to be able to just walk out my back door, and they built stairs out my back door, in between, like in the, whatever, you don't need to know, it's in the public property, but I can walk down to the canyon where the waterfalls are and everything. And what a cool thing that I made this dream come true. Girl from Brooklyn who's now living so close to the forest and surrounded by the forest. And the character traits I had were courageous, honest with myself, that I needed to change, and bold. I feel like, even though bold and courageous are the same, I moved someplace where I didn't know a soul, and I did it though. I picked a place and I went and picked up my life and created a new life. And it's been one of the best learning experiences of my life. And Spirit's reminding everybody that when you take those courageous moves, you make those courageous moves in your life, they're usually the best learning experiences, and they build such incredible character in you. So where are you backing off? And what is a character trait or 2 or 3 that you need in order to move forward? So think about a time when you got what you wanted, or you went for something and learned something incredible from it, and you built these incredible character traits from it. And sit with that a bit and put that towards your question. So this couple just walked by, and the woman had these gloves on that had skeletons on them as hands. Not skeletons, but the bones of like hand bones. And she said she got them for Halloween. I was like, oh, I love your gloves. And she's like, I got them for Halloween and I just forget. And I'm walking by the creek. And so everything is information. So Halloween for me is mystery and magic. And it's when the veil is thinner between this dimension and, the other dimensions. Although I feel like that veil is thinner, period. So like, what do you need to believe? What magical thing do you need to believe in order to see your dreams come to fruition? What do you need to believe about yourself? What do you need to believe about your life? Many times people that work with me, they have this belief of, I'm too old, or, oh, why is my book going to make any difference when all these other people are writing books too, and they're great. And there's a belief that's keeping you back. So, and now I'm by the wooden fence where it's the barrier and the water and the creek. And it's reminding me of the turtle, that the reason why these fencing is here now is to save the turtles that they found. And turtles, like, they're interesting, right? Like, think of a memory that you have of a turtle and see how that's answering your question. I teach the symbolic language of the soul based on your own life experiences. And so turtles for me they're really kind of cool. I like them. They got their little hard shells. They have their little house. They can tuck their heads in and protect themselves from the environment if they need to, tuck their legs in. And I just like the way they like kind of mosey around life, mosey through life. And they're just interesting little creatures to look at. I don't know a lot about them. I feel like I used to know more, but that's gone with, I don't know where, somewhere in the brain. So spirit would be saying, and also this protection of this bridge, these fence. What do you need protection from? Or do you need protection? Like, is that a belief? Like, you're afraid and you've got to watch out. And, oh my goodness, what happens if I invest this money and I lose it? Or whatever the story is that you're telling yourself that may not necessarily be true. And the thing about the turtle is, take your time, right? But move and go forward. And don't tuck in your head and your legs unless it's absolutely necessary. So the reason why I would do that is, say I'm in a situation and intuitively I'm feeling, this happened recently, intuitively I'm feeling like this is not a good situation. This partnership is not a good partnership. And those are the times when you want to, retreat and say, no, not doing it. And then move along. Okay, so I'll see what else I get. As I'm walking, I'm going to walk over to the water so you can hear it a little bit more because it flows. And then I can finally go on a path where I can take them off leash. Because Mike is like, really, Mom? I want to go. So can you hear the water? I'll hold up my other thing so you could hear it. So what is flowing in your life? What's not flowing? What does water flowing mean to you? Where do you need to turn the faucet on? Where are you stopping the flow? What can you do to start the flow? What can you believe to get the flow going? Where do you need to rinse yourself off? What they mean by that is energy. We're empathic. A lot of us are empathic people, so we pick up energy from other people. I'm reading this book, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but he talks about how DNA, they've noticed, they did these tests where DNA was separated from the person by like 325 miles. And when the person was experiencing an emotion, the DNA was reacting, even though it was that far away. And then he said, think about it. When people touch you, they're leaving their DNA on you. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's why I don't like random people just touching me. It's like, I don't like people touching me because I'm so empathic. And then you're getting their energy on you. So where do you need to release energy or release an old relationship or an old story or an old partnership that's not allowing you to move forward? And what relationships, because, okay, so forgive me, I'm going to say this, but I'm seeing Jesus walking on water, right? Moses walked on water, but I'm seeing Jesus right now. And Jesus to me is the ultimate healer. And that's my belief. It's up to you what you believe. We all come from different cultures and understanding, and I celebrate it all. And what do you need to believe to walk on water? To heal yourself, and bring your work out into the world. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that. So now I'm on a path where I'm seeing the path in front of me, and you can see the path in front of you. And if you visualize the path in front of you, what do you see? And walk towards that, not your fears, not your anxieties, not past experiences that have created trauma in your body or anxiety or fear or sadness, but walk towards the things that light you up, that make you happy, that move you forward. I was listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza last night, and a lot of what he teaches on a scientific level, I've learned from my guides on a spiritual level. I can't back it up with science, right? So it's great hearing it from him. And he was talking about, and I'm going to butcher this, so forgive me, but he was talking about how to be neutral in your emotions, and how to get neutral so that you're not creating the future from the emotional experiences of the past, because the body's addicted to certain things like stress and anxiety and fear. And if you're just continuing to stay in that state, then that's all you're bringing into your future. But if you can get yourself to disengage and get more neutral, and again, like I said, he was much better explaining it, then you can create new emotions and visualize what it is you do want to create, and then you can see it in front of you and move towards it, and then your body thinks it's actually happening, and your brain and all that kind of stuff. So consciousness, and I'm definitely not saying this right, but the way my guides always explain it to me, I'll do it that way, is to not make decisions from where I came from, but to make choices to where I'm going. And that's how they disengage me from the past. So you're on the path. Everybody's on the path. A lot of times people think I'm off the path. It's still the path. You're on it. And it's about making it a better path. If it's not serving you, not supporting you, if the path is hurting you, you're still on the path. So make a decision on that path to make better choices that are going to support you. So where do you need to make better choices in your life? Where are you not? Be honest with yourself. Where are you not making great choices? Where are you denying your truth? Where are you not living up to your potential? You know, so many times people don't realize that, for me, just my experience, change happens from within. It's not when something arrives at our doorstep. It's when we decide to change that change happens. And then we do the work to make the change happen. And then things start getting synchronistic with each other because you're clear. You know what you want. The universe knows how to respond to that. And then you see the messages and everything. So where do you need to make changes on the path? What do you need to feel on this path? That's more importantly. It's like, do you want to feel more love and more excitement and creativity and abundance and connection to source? When I decided, I picked 5 things based on the book The Desire Map by Daniel Laporte over 5 years ago. I picked 5 things based on that book that I read, and they were like connected to source, abundant, inspired, creative, and I can't remember what the 5th one was. And I was so focused on creating that every single day in my life that I did. And I changed my business, and I also became very clear what wasn't inspiring me and what wasn't making me feel creative or abundant. And I was able to release those things because I was creating solution, and I was focused on what I wanted to invite more of in, not what I didn't have in. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, sit with that for a bit. So I'm actually going to bring this to an ending now so I can enjoy my time with my dogs, because I need to focus on them and my walk. So I'm just noticing there's no sound. It's so quiet. It's so silent. So I feel like the ending of this reading for all of you is get quiet. Listen to your innermost thoughts. Don't be afraid of them. And then take action. The thoughts that are telling you that you are creative, you are a writer, you are an actress, you are a healer, you are a mom, whatever it is, you are a wife, you are a husband, whatever it is that you're dreaming in, get quiet and listen to those voices because they speak the truth into your soul. And, you know, Spirit just said another great way to see it is see them written in your soul. You know, the I am statement is so powerful. It's God in action, and it's just such a powerful statement. And if whether you believe in God or not, it's up to you, whatever you believe in. But see that written in your soul. What does that feel like? What does that sound like? And feel into that and be it. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. The last thing I'm seeing is a hawk. So go sit by yourself right now with your guides and ask them what a hawk means to you, or why I'm seeing a hawk and giving it to you at this moment. And that hawk is for all of you. Enjoy it. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.